Go ahead.
And the Black Panther is the symbol for the priests at war when they go into stealth mode. But the symbols represent the blackbird on what we call the African house, the African crow. The African crow is represented as the blackbird returning from the crossroads.
Okay.
So type in, go to the crow, type in quotes. Go to quotes to the Google, type in crow quotes. Because at the end of the day, it got to take us back to who is God. Mother behind it. You can either read it there or you can go to a fancy picture of it.
All right. Hey, that's dropping it right there.
So
You know
Eric, look, Eric Draven, right? Now look at the name. Eric in Akkadian is Europe. It means fire. The D is the fourth letter, but it represents a loaf in Kemet. This would be a D, would be a loaf of bread, right? And then you got Raven. Raven represents the bird. So the bird coming in on the four. The four is the four corner shuffle, which is the four winds. And the four winds is setting the world on fire.
Go ahead.
And mother is the name for God on the lips and hearts of all children.
Boom. It's like that bomb effect right then.
Do you understand? Morphine is bad for you. Your daughter is out there on the streets waiting for you. Quote the motherfucking Raven.
Oh, yeah.
So even the one that comes back for the Sibyls, see it?
Yeah.
With the black crow, right? From the African side, they come over here, and these sisters came out of a different house. You got the mama bear, right? You got the mama of the pumas, which we would call a Afeni Shakur, which would be a Black Panther, a chief in stealth.
Go ahead.
Right? So all of these mothers get together to restore the matriarchy in order to protect the children for the next 7 generations. So now you understand how we got to where we was. So the 7 is the 7th son, which I'd be me, the 7th seed of the 7th seed of the 7th seed, off a 5%er, Rakim Allah, born with 3 7s in my head. The one can seem to blow your mind as far as this, to find you need philosophers and anthropologists, professors and scholars from the smartest colleges and all of that shit. I had to get a couple of them in there.
Yeah, hey, bars. You know what I'm saying? This is knock on. Hey, this is the knock on the north gate, man. This is the knock on the north gate right here.
Okay, so now
I'm straight.
Now we know that the zodiac seat center is Big Mama's seat, and that the 12 sisters is the Sibyls. Now, what we don't know about the Sibyls is why they call them that. The term schizophrenia comes from the Sibyls. The Sibyls were synced telepathically one with another, all with the Divine Mother. right? And once they are all synced, they are on the same psychic network to pass information instantly from their region of the world. And that's what it was called too, Isis magic. It's the magic of the sisters, what we call the birthright to the earth rights, which is the rituals of the birth priestesses, the rituals of the yoni priestesses to maintain the vaginal health of the planet, which is also female. Right? In some cultures, we describe things in reverse or upside down, and that's where they deceived us because they had us thinking south was down and north was up, never knowing that the ice princess comes from the underworld. And the underworld is the land of ice. And the land of ice is called the Northland. Right? And the Northland is the land of the ice princess, which is the Isis of the pole, the North Pole. You see? And these are the 8 points that makes up the house of Isis, meaning the 8 points of study. They give you 8 points of study in order to raise people up using matriarchal rules that was usurped. Right? So, from when you understand how to read the stellar clock and the earth clock, then you know how to understand the movement of the people in order to locate you who you're looking for. And there's always a clue. Because in your life, your book of life got clues. Like Hansel and Gretel breadcrumbs. Mm-hmm. You know you left them for yourself, but you don't remember where you left them until you get to them. And for some odd reason, you have to pay attention. Right? So the great work, the Magna Carta, is the orders of the Magna Mater, and the Magna Mater is the home house of the Great Mother, Big Mama house. Over here, type in Iroquois Longhouse. Over here, Big Mama's house was called the Longhouse, or the Big Mama's house, and it was the biggest house on the property. Commonly became known as the Longhouse under the transitional tribes forming up the Iroquois. Most of these names, like Iroquois, is not a native name. That's French.
Right.
We weren't French until the Blackamoors brought French over as a language. Right? And the Longhouse was Big Mama's house. Right? Let's look and see if we can see what the inside look like, Elder.
Like a whole bunch of people
first picture. Over there. Click that first picture right there. Yeah. So in our culture, when we used to have family gatherings, you had a men's quarters and a women's quarters. And then you had a private suite for couples to spend their time with each other if they married, away from the gathering. Now, over here in the Longhouse, when you see a Longhouse like this, this is a war barrack.
Okay.
Right? And the reason it's a war barrack is the layout. If it was a peacetime dweller, it wouldn't be laid laid out in this fashion, it would be laid out almost like a giant open loft house with furniture of different kind. This is all beds. This is all sleeping quarters.
Yeah.
Right. So this is the longhouse of war. Friendly pale faces penetrate. They start letting us into their institutions. They start sending our children to their children's educational systems with armed guard now. That's the people we sending in there, sending us the message back from the inside saying, hey, I got us a way in. Follow me. Go look at who marching with King. Mm-hmm. You ain't gonna get out of this without getting the same motherfuckers that kicked their ass out of Europe to help you. So why not use it to your advantage? They using them to block you out of the institution. Open Ellis Island up and run it over, fill this motherfucker with friendly pale faces. We want every derelict you got. But in the end of 100 years, they're going to be the ones at the top of society that's going to be able to tell us who's doing what behind the scenes. And this is where you get a Donald Trump from.
The disclosure.
Right.
The disclosure, yeah.
Right, because they have to, we got to figure out how to get this information out to the chiefs on the land so one of us can figure out when do we exercise the blood right to reclaim the land. If we don't learn from what they telling us, flipping it out of their secret by watching the movements, this is why we be losing, because we not very good at watching the long game because we ain't too good at watching the short game.
We're easily distracted, and it seems that they know that, because it seems like every week there's some new level of something that's capturing our attention. If it's and I'm not making mockery of it, but the Shanquella Robinson issue, before that, the Kyrie and the Kit and the Yay. So it's like every week, every other week, there's a new something that captures our attention and takes us away from coming together. And because even those things that capture attention, there's debate. So it's not we're not unified in what we think we're seeing, or what if there's a message or what happened. So we're not working on unity. We're not working on restoration, because we don't need reparation. We need restoration. We need to be restored and made whole. We need to come together in order to do that. And it seems to me.
Okay, so this is why we tell our people to read the Indigenous Rights Act. The only way to overthrow that system is we have to go back to the system we had before they came.
True.
Which is an oral tradition. The mothers of the land they already starting, because they already sending me the messages that they reaching out to family members, discovering parts of their heritage they had never known before. And they found out what I said was right. We ain't come on no damn ships. We was already here.
True.
In a full bustling society. And they came and attacked us because they wanted what we had. But they didn't want our materials, because we use earthy shit. When we get ready to do a crown, Big Mama make you one out of feathers. We don't go smelt the gold into a crown. That's not the custom of the people from the Atlant, what we call the Americas. Mm-hmm. Our custom is everything we did, we tried to stay as close to nature as possible. So our royal garments is trinkets to the people from Europe, but they have royal significance to the people of the land, like the topaz. It's just a rock to them. It's a sacred stone to us.
Topaz, the stone topaz.
Yeah. Okay. It's a sacred stone for us. And a lot of the topaz copper jewelry traced back to tribes from the Southwest. They was doing it for thousands of years. Those was the gifts they adorned their royalty with.
And I know in the Southwest they do a lot with turquoise.
And turquoise as well. Another sacred stone.
Yeah. Wow. So it's a whole it's been a whole conspiracy to destroy, like you said, our history, our reference to our whole genealogical past. They've rewritten it. They've interjected themselves in places that they were not. I even learned or heard that they had even added maybe 290 some, and I heard anywhere from 2-something to 500 some years into the timeline when they started messing with the calendars in order to find a place to interject their various empires when, they were, the Roman Empire and I guess they're looking for the revived Roman Empire. That's what they think they're ready to do.
The Roman Empire had been the Catholic Church the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
The Catholic Church controlled the Crown of England, which was tied to the business district of Switzerland. Banking, international bankers. They used pale faces over there to hide the black nobility. The ones behind it that looked like us, that thought they got away until their ass got caught. They never nobody in a million years would have thought we'd figure out that they was using pale faces to block us out so they can claim to be us at the end. Right? We supposed to get mad, go on a bloody rampage, and kill all the pale people.
Oh, okay.
Right? So they won't stand next to us and say, kill Whitey, kill Whitey. And then when we get our shit, they gonna take it all and murder us. Because that's their oath. That's the oath of allegiance to themselves over anything that got to do with us. All these oaths are out in the open. It's not secret. I've been showing them on other shows so people will know that this is actually documented.
I've heard them talk about black nobility in other platforms, but they try to say in those platforms that when they show who's a part of this elitist group, they still don't look like us. They're saying black as not in the skin color, but black in maybe in the deed or in their, because they're doing dark, behind the scenes stuff, but they don't have.
They got the faces of the royal families called the black nobility on the family crests.
I always see them, on on the cameos and so forth. You see
they
those.
Try to tell us as part of the white supremacist narrative that those was the slave traders.
Why would you put
the family that was the slaves that the family owned?
So why would you pick how would you pick one slave to be on your, on your crest? Why would you do that? And that's the more prominent is that
right. So now you have to go research the art. When you go over there, you will find they got giant statues of Moors eating babies, literally.
Yeah.
Wow. That's crazy.
That's King of all kings right there. He the one made the alliance with Larry to create the Black Gangster Disciple Nation. It wasn't never supposed to turn out to be us versus us. It was supposed to be us against the machine.
Wow. Wow.
So King David was told the secret by the Jews because he was offering security to the fake Jews to protect them from the mafia, Irish mafia and Italian mafia in Chicago. So they wasn't allowed to come in our neighborhoods, but they could do whatever they want in theirs. Right? That's what segregation was all about.
Wow.
We didn't know we could go in their shit. That's why they didn't want us there. They wasn't allowed to come in our shit without our permission. We fought for integration, which ended up making us have to. Now the system say you can go wherever you want to go, disregard who you want to disregard, disrespect who you want to disrespect, and we gonna bag you up on that fuckery.
Wow. Wow. That's crazy.
Right? So what's going on right now? These is the ones who we sending in to get our shit back.
Okay.
Now, remember, Go back to the Salem witch hunts, and it was a big mama teach the little pale girls yoni magic. Right? So, oh, go to that ballroom dancing. See that?
Yep.
So the dancing instructions is the same. All that shit came from us. We invented ballroom, square dance, bop. All that shit come from us. Foxtrot. All of them is, and all of these dances you see being done on the land is what you call ritual maintenance. Preserve the rituals in the common culture, so that the people from the original of oldest of times will always recognize the culture because they created it.
The salsa, all that. Yep. Shata. So
somebody said that they confused because the children of these people was already on reservations. You got to go back and recheck the story. They came over and was taught, but the adults that came with them didn't have to be taught. The children had to be taught. All you have to teach the adults is you have to go rehearse how to tell stories until they learn how to tell the story. With the children is the ones who can embody the information that you download into them. That's why you don't see a lot of adults around those children at those schools. Go back to the picture, Elder.
I got you.
Find me an adult.
And one of them pictures.
Now, you know when we went to school, got our class pictures. It was our teacher was always in the picture. Who is the adult?
They ain't teaching the adult because it's black. It's gonna show native adult nigga. That's what they gonna want to tell you. You know?
And most of these were taught by women. Women was teaching the dance classes.
Man, so hey, real quick question, man, because this right here, you just gave me some more pieces, Rod. So these, let me get
they ceremonial tribes. Anything that to overthrow this system, they gonna be the ones standing up because we too scared to do it. We don't believe in our power on the land, so we won't pool our resources. We're gonna fight against each other.
Okay.
All you got to do is show the children the path to victory, and they gonna push the adults out the side. So let's go on to some questions, Elder. If you got some questions you wanted to go over.
Oh yeah, I got you. So let me put this together. So they had to. This whole plan was to switch these people out with us, and they taught them how to be us. That's crazy.
No. Okay, so the slightest miss in the vision is this.
Okay.
They were going to replace us with them.
Go ahead.
But they was going to come over and they was going to be the indigenous people, but they was going to act like the white man.
Yeah.
So it was we the ones who's training them. Because we know that if we don't train them to imitate us, that we won't never be able to send nobody in to get our shit because our people not going to trust themselves.
Wow. Right.
And most of the leadership is just ceremonial leaders anyway. They're not even real leaders because they ain't most loved, most respected by nobody.
Wow. So hey, the first question I have for you, Rod, this right here, that's you just dropped a nuke on us right there. That's a nuke right there, man. You know, this right here piece right here, this is nail in the coffin right here, man.
Big Mama said, leave no stone unturned.
Oh yeah, you just turned over a big ass stone right there. You just made a big ass connection right there for me. Now you said you was talking about Jack Johnson, and how we was doing the phase of the fighting on the land, and you was talking about how the Jack Johnson really was the first dude that started getting. You had broke down his connection with us.
Yes. Okay. So look, when they came over here, they don't have no skills.
Okay.
Right now, remember they on a quest for one drop of blood.
Okay.
But in the quest for the one drop of blood, they got to develop into functional humans that can ascend. Yaku's grafted devil. They got to come up with their own ability to fight. When you look at now, you see how Jack Johnson fighting.
Yeah.
Okay, pull up Type in the Great White Hope versus Jack Johnson and watch how the white boy standing.
Yeah, I got that picture right here. Already up in there. Cause I heard you say something about the Great White Hope. It should be right up in here. Is it up in there? Right here. I think this is it right here. Right here. Yeah, he's standing
like how he holding it. You see how he holding his fist with the fisticuffs? Put him up even. That's because they had to learn how to develop this science. He already know it.
Yeah.
Jack Johnson was the first one they allowed to fight because they thought that they had a champion. I think this guy name was it Jess Willard? Anyway, they thought that they had developed their skills enough to challenge a real fighter from our fight camps. He came from Ethiopia war colony.
Go ahead.
They came over here to deliver something called a pyramid secret to the Nine Ether. They had to deliver that over here. He was what you call the child of a priest. So they taught him the boxing secrets. That's why Jack Johnson was excelling everybody. Right? And but his father or his caretaker or whoever brought him over here used him for the cover story. Because we got the Nine Ether, the Ether Utopia connection through the Holy Pibby and through the sacred parchment scroll of Black supremacy around the time he arrived. And that's Ethiopian doctrine. And that's going to tie us back to Haile Selassie. Now, the only thing we got to do is verify that Haile Selassie is not from bloodline of Israel. Because if we can prove that, then we can capture Nine Ether for the Earthborn. That's science for saying that we can take the science and we can use it and apply it. Okay, so now we're talking root black science.
Okay.
The science of the Black Dot, Dr. Richard King. The science of Melon, Dr. Carol Byrne. Right? We're talking about social development of the mind of the children. Right? We got Haki Matabuti. We got Nathan, John, and Julia Hare. When we got Dr. Amos Wilson, Master of Masters in the psychological development of our children and understanding the problem. Once you understand the problem, you can get a solution. Dr. Neely Fuller, the United Independent Compensatory Code System for breaking the chains of white supremacy, is a direct affront to the 9 areas of people activity. Economics, education, entertainment, labor, law, politics, religion, sex, and war. And when you lay it all out, you understand that what we up against, we got to have a dog in every fight or we can't win. Right? So why did Clarence 13X leave the Nation of Islam? What was the conflict?
That's a good question. Go ahead.
Elijah sent him out, but it came out as a conflict because the chief never got to tell you really what to do. Once you understand the assignment, you do your part. Okay. Just do your part. You don't got to do everything because everybody got a part and we're going to work as a team. That's the critical part of warfare.
That's right.
Right? Once we realize what's going on, whatever they tell us to do, we just don't do that shit.
Okay.
Right? And whatever they tell us not to do, we might try to do that shit if it doesn't make sense why we shouldn't do it. That's called testing the system to see where it's strong and where it's weak. The general gonna read the moves, right? So when he come with the 9 Ether, Garvey bring it over for the Prince Hall Freemasons to set the Masons free. Right? That's why the UNIA is up, you mighty people, do what you will. We just brought you the science of the 9 Ether. With the science of the 9 Ether, you can unlock the highest consciousness, which is the 9 ether gas forces of the ancestors that dwell in the soils of the earth. So we talking Mississippi red clay dirt. Look at my skin, Mississippi red clay dirt, right? Versus the pitch black dirt of the Nile. That's 2 different dirts.
Okay.
right? So when they developing and they learning their skills, they have to learn in steps until they can master the muscle movement. And sometimes it takes generations. Right. And just when they think Tommy Gunn was ready, Ray Mercer was mercilessly knocking his head into the ground. They thought they had another one.
Yeah, right.
The same as Jerry Cooney and Larry Holmes. They keep playing the same repeat. They finally got one. The Fury of Tyson came out as Tyson Fury. Right. And Dante Wilder is relying on the one hitter quitter. You can't rely on the one hitter quitter.
Go ahead.
Because if you only rely on the one punch man, then if you miss, you lost.
Yeah.
Right. So all these things is just putting together what we've been looking at culturally play out in the mainstream. Right. See, he don't hold his hands like those other fighters back then. That's how they used to hold their hands.
Like this, like Jack Johnson holding. He fight like orthodox. Well, yeah, I guess that'll be orthodox. Like he right.
Yep.
So like orthodox is like one of the oldest, because most people right-handed. It's only like left-handed is like rare.
So the Israelis the first one to develop a functional martial art. If you go to Google and type in Krav Maga, this was developed by the Israeli Secret Service to try to combat other forms. It's spelled with a K. K-A-V space Magra. M-A-G-R-A.
I got you. Right here.
Yeah.
Wow. I ain't even never heard of this style.
Yeah, so they take this in. This goes to the combat sports. Because you gotta have these, you gotta develop them so they can ascend. You can't leave nobody behind. Mama said you can't throw nobody away like trash. Right? So it took time to develop a people into their own. They had to get leadership because they was at the bottom the whole time. Right? Because they came over as somebody else's servant. And we had to pay, the good had to pay with the bad. In order to get us all free, some of us had to go into voluntary servitude.
That's crazy.
In other words, we had to make a plea agreement.
That's what Big Mother Bear said, that some people went into slavery for us.
Yeah, that's what she's talking about.
Yeah.
It's the war. It's the war for the psyche, the mind of the people. As long as they don't believe who they is, they can't never they can't never redeem themselves. Everybody responsible for their own self first before you're responsible for the person next to you. Right. And once you understand that concept, you do the self work in order to make you better protection to the people next to you. This is OGT Rogers.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you about. The Peace Stones, were they Bloods originally, or did they turn into Bloods when they
the Bloods formed before the Peace Stones knew that the Red House needed structure. He was sent by Angel Bay to go out to LA and help with the Red House in California. So this is how behind the scenes, these are the OGs that's building in the structure. All the tribes had to be in the position that if the structure is activated, everybody is supposed to know what their role is. Just by their structure. And the way theirs is it's an OG call.
Yeah, that's right.
If it ain't an OG call, then we ain't finna move on that. Right? Now if it's a triple OG call, now we listening.
Yeah, triple OG call.
Yeah, because now we got the real big homies in here.
3-star general.
That's the most respected of the most respected right there. Them the ones that the niggas you respect.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? This is what this all about. So T. Rogers, he was also associated with some of the elders in the Panther Party from varying parts of California.
Okay.
Right. And so he took the structure given to him by Angel Bay, but it got to be the structure that fit the tribe that they came from. So when Tookie created the Crips, the default was the Bloods was going to have to form.
Right.
Right. That's the default. That's so that just like the motherland got an army, the fatherland got an army. This Chief Malik Angel Bay, notice he got on Vice Lord colors. black over gold.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That means he's concealed by the orders of Big Mama.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But he holding on to his grip on his post. You see?
Mm-hmm.
Right over left.
Yeah, I see it.
Right? And his right hand over the left, that means the right hand is concealing the stone.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Mm-hmm. So all of these OGs right here, most of them probably not here no more.
Yeah, they was rocking the fez and the full beard like Hebrews.
Mm-hmm.
So they
right now at this point in the struggle, Angel Base still trying to find out what's going on the land.
Mm-hmm.
At this point, where he at right now? Where you that picture?
Yeah, right there. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It said that that's what I wanted to ask you too about this. Okay. It said it's right here in this document. They said that Ford is currently serving a 168-year prison sentence after being convicted of conspiracy and weapons charges in 1987 for a plot to commit attacks inside the U.S. in exchange for weapons and $2.5 million from Libya, ordering a murder in 1980. They probably framed him for that too, and a conviction for drug trafficking in 1932. So they say the main part I'm looking at is they tried to say his brother was going to make some money from Libya for doing a terrorist attack in the United States.
Okay, so I don't know if you remember when this went down, but around the same time, Muammar Gaddafi offered Farrakhan $5 billion to give us economic aid for our community.
Mm-hmm.
The U.S. government told Farrakhan that if he take it, he got to register as a foreign agent.
What?
The problem is if he registers as a foreign agent, then they're gonna come in and arrest him as an enemy combatant, and he's gonna end up right where Angel Bay at.
Same thing. Yep.
Yep. So they didn't let him. They blocked him from getting the money, but it's more than one way to skin the cat. So this $2.5 million had nothing to do. If you go back to the city of Chicago, got a grant for him. And he was feeding kids with the grant money.
Mm-hmm.
Mayor Jane Byrne, I think is her name, brought him the check over on the west side of Chicago, and they came in a caravan. They rolled in a motorcade to bring him the check, and they seen what he was doing with the money. This when he was in the streets.
Mm-hmm.
Now remember, he don't know what's going on the land. He just know he trying to help his people from an adverse condition.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And then when he got out of prison in the 70s, they had sent him in there on some old trumped up bullshit. But anyway, when he got out, he went into juvenile first.
Mm-hmm.
When he came out to juvenile, he was a grown man. By now, Big Mama gave him marching orders as soon as he hit the streets. His job, he is the highest authority of law on the land enforcement.
Mm-hmm.
He is the chief mufti of the land using the doctrine of Islamism.
Mm-hmm.
So if he is the chief mufti on the land, his job is to tear this bitch up if his people ain't right.
Mm-hmm.
Only his people left him hanging. He didn't leave them hanging. They left him hanging.
Man, wow. They got scared.
No, they just didn't know what to do. There wasn't enough thinkers in our community back then.
Okay. Yeah, I wasn't even born during this time. So.
We had plenty of fighters, Elder.
Yeah.
But we didn't have a lot of thinkers. This is why the structure of the Nation of Islam, the structure for the Black Panthers became critical to teaching structure to the rest of the clans on the land.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So we had to figure out how to restore and rebuild while they steady doing shit to us. They never stopped doing shit to us the whole time.
Setting us up the whole time.
They never stopped their COINTEL operations until they got finally shut down in 2019.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. When Trump got on there. Yeah, Ford transferred to the newly opened ADX Florence Supermax prison, same prison as Larry Hoover and Baba. And you think that these niggas, all the same niggas that came out to Jeff Ford, came out to Larry and Baba. The same exact niggas, man. I'm telling you, bro. And he's still in prison right now for being framed and set up.
I hope he better not be still in there.
Who, Jeff Ford?
Yeah. We don't have to know he ain't in there, but he better not be still in there too. They ain't gonna tell us.
Yeah, and
they gonna tell us.
He can't be like, just like Bob and Larry Hoover, they really can't be in contact with nobody. Can't be in contact, you can't being under a no human contact order. They so scared of this dude, they don't want him to even fucking talk to nobody. Now that's crazy. They scared of this dude. That's really scary right there. They don't want this dude to even
remember what the New York police said about Malcolm, right? No one man should have that much power.
Yep. And if Malcolm wasn't so far ahead in the game to go finger him, then he probably would have been in this prison too with them, right alongside them. I'm telling you, man. Same niggas came out to Malcolm, came out to these niggas.
They was infiltrating us. See, that's how we knew that the war was in our community, was with somebody that looked like us.
Mm-hmm.
Even when you read Secret Relationship Between Blacks and Jews, some of those settlements they talking about wasn't no pale faces there. Running shit. Who is these motherfuckers and why we can't see them?
That's right.
Tupac said it better than anybody. Tupac said it better than anybody I know. They say it's the white man I should fear, but it's my own kind doing all the killing here.
Hey, Buckley said, shout out Buckley. I think it said Delilah. That's how you say her first name, Delilah. Chief Rod, did you ever get a chance to talk with Dame Calloway?
No, but we will. He doing his work. I'm doing my work. I'm watching him. He probably watching me, but we know what we're doing.
Oh yeah, it's working. It's coming all together, baby. But you just gave me another piece, Rod. That piece, that Indian training school, boy, they ain't gonna play that on the news nowhere ever. I'm telling you, bro. That's the end. That's. Ooh, they scared when you put that piece out. I'm telling you. They was hoping we never figured that piece out right there, bro. I'm telling you.
Man, I told you they can't trick me.
That piece right there.
I know my people, man. I know my people. I know why we will and won't move on certain shit.
That shit right there and like now, because I got into an argument with some $5 Indians, and I was telling them, some of y'all mixed with Asian. I'm looking at them; they look Asian looking, and I'm saying y'all mixed with Asian. And then they came to the reality eventually. But
well, a lot of the Shoshonis, so you got the last name Shaw. That's short for Shoshone, right? And Shawnee. Those two tribes became the popular name Shaw. Too short. Old Mississippian off the Shoshone bloodline. So they marry Asians, a lot of Asians in their family as railroad workers.
Right.
So we got to know where everybody went. It's a trail. You just passed Angel Bay.
Yeah, Angel Bay. We talked about Angel Bay.
So
you say Tookie Raymond made a connection with the Blue House. Go ahead.
So this right here is a monumental feat in our community that two brothers put their egos aside and say, me and you, dog, we gonna join and unite and figure this shit out together.
Wasn't no damn gang. We wasn't no gang. They turned us into gangs. We were tribal warriors.
A gang is a
yeah, right. That's right. But they made a negative connotation of gang. Criminal. They put criminal with the word.
Right, by putting it in the news and spinning it with every foul deed that went on.
Propaganda.
We caught them back in 91 during the so-called Rodney King riots. In the peace treaty, the police dressing up like gangbangers to start wars.
Wow.
It just so happened that we caught them and Swiss cheese their ass. That's how we found out.
Wow.
They was undercover police.
Wow.
And federal agents masquerading as us. So they got their ass handed to them by them boys in the street. They don't know the boys in the hood is always hard. Come talking that trash, we'll pull your car. Want nothing in life but to be legit. But don't quote me, boy, because I ain't said.
That's right. That's right.
So all of these things, all of these clans forming around their own independent, self-raised leadership. Chucky didn't declare himself the chief. He earned that title by interacting with other Crips. Expanding by his charisma and his influence over those who was nomads in the street, forming clans. Once he understood what was going on the land, then they staged the Geronimo Pratt scene and accused him of murder.
Yep. The killer clowns. Cointel. So like
those training schools was on the path of the Trail of Tears in varying locations.
Wow.
Somebody asked that question in the comments, Elder. They was like, where was they?
Yeah. The training school,
they was in varying locations. Yeah. So you can probably do a Google search to find out the locations of all of them, because there was a lot of them on the land. That's what when they was going to Indian training school, all of the sisters that's supposed to have been teaching our children, they forced them out of the church to teach for them at the Indian training school under the threat of death. So we use it to our advantage.
Wow. Man, what you saying makes so much sense about why Tookie and both of these brothers, both of these dudes have a certain type of last name that tie them back into a certain bloodline. Like both of these dudes.
Williams is one of the largest family clans on the land.
Yeah, I'm a Williams and a Washington. But both of these dudes.
Washington is a Washita. Williams is a sub clan. Old Mississippian bloodlines.
Tookie Williams actually from the same city, and Raymond. They both from Louisiana. Well, not Raymond, because Raymond dad moved there later. And then I could trace. Look, I'm kin to George Washington Carver. I found out through tracing my history. I'm kin to George Washington Carver. I'm talking about he my great granddaddy first cousin, George Washington Carver. I'm gonna be showing all this stuff later on different tapes though, but I don't want to. But yeah, Tookie is my grandma's cousin, and then he's on my granddaddy's side. So the Washingtons and Williams are always married into each other. We always it's a lot of Washingtons and Williams that married into each other.
So out of the Midwest territory, the Browns, which was out of the Ohio, Indiana area, going into Illinois, the Browns was the largest clan. Right. So a lot of these family names was clan, and that's why Cleveland's mascot is Cleveland Browns.
Wow. Go ahead, Roy. Crackheads.
We got to keep our culture and everything moving on the land.
Wow.
Because we got to be able to reclaim it at the end of the close of the age. So now we want to know where the money gonna come from. It's called the national debit. It was the national debt for the corporation, but when we seized everything, it became the national debit. So if you go to Google to type in that, how much is the national debt? This how much money they got that's available to rebuild on the land. That's liquid available.
Right now, the national debt says how much does the government pay the interest? No, I don't want to know that. I want to know what the national debt is. Hold on, let me try something real quick. How much is national debt now today? Try that. Okay, all right, it's $31.38 trillion.
Right. That's how much money right now that we have in a reserve currency. It's probably in crypto that's going to go back to the families. We're going to use the Small Business Administration to teach family banking setup so families can reclaim that what was rightfully theirs to begin with.
That's good stuff. That's good stuff. So what do Trump play a part being that in 20, I don't even think he's going to make it, man, because I think they preparing for some. I got a lot of videos from people. I'm going to be talking about that later from these Humvees. One dude said he opened up the back of a trailer on a Walmart parking lot and they had a whole bunch of those robots in the back. And they had these Humvees out there. They moving all these Humvees to Walmarts. So maybe they know that we gonna, because that's involved with FEMA, right? So maybe they know that they finna have to get up out of here. It's over, and they gonna just leave us hanging. The banks and everything just gonna shut down. We gonna be They're gonna send us into a stereo if we don't know if we don't prepare for this. If we don't prepare for them to cut us off and leave us on our own. You know what I'm saying? With the money and all that. We don't need the money, but people gonna panic and it's gonna cause chaos for a little while until people calm down and realize we don't need money. We could just trade. Like you got corn, I got rice, let's trade. But niggas,
that's the barter system.
Yeah.
But see, the currency system, if it ain't anything that's not corrupt, it'll work. If you get the corrupt hands, the dirty hands out of the pot, then it'll run functional.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what financial system we gonna be on when it's done, but I know whatever it is, it's gonna be better than debt-based reserve currency, because that's what we under. Debt-based reserve currency.
Wow.
Monopoly money.
Yep, pretty much fiat. Yep. Yeah. But I tell you, every time Rod come on, this nigga drop some shit on some. That's why Nick, you could have dropped the mic on that Indian school piece. You could have dropped the mic and walk off stage after that. That was a wrap right there. I'm telling you, man. You could have just dropped the mic while that shit right there. I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do with that. Oh man, you don't even know, man, what you just did with that. Oh man.
Yeah, I told you that, but you probably don't remember, but one of our earlier joints together, we went over that information, where they came from.
Yeah, you did. In the $5.
The only thing is, I didn't show you where they was trained to pretend to be us at.
Mm-hmm. But that man, because I was wondering, I was thinking they was they was some of these people were our children. Some of them wasn't even our children. They just were trained to act like us. Wow, that's crazy. That's devastating. It's devastating. At the same time, it's good information. It's like a whole bunch of shit just going on in my mind just off knowing that one piece. That these motherfuckers went to, but you said, like you said, we actually trained them to preserve our shit.
Yeah, Nova Drali said, pull up Nova Drali quote, the one with the red circle around it.
Okay, let's see.
In the oral statements and prophecy, he said he was gonna make the it's in the folder.
Oh yeah, are you showing it to me, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, all right, yeah, the one with the red circle on it. Let me go to that. It's down here.
There you go.
Right here, this one right here.
Mm-mm.
Okay, it's not that one. It says the only thing that the word would surprise me if it's a more would do right. God damn, no, Ali going hard on the most.
You see that red circle at the top?
Right here.
Yeah, that's it. See, this is good. When they be telling me I don't know what I'm talking about, I go pull something like this up. Number 45, that's the big gun.
This is done by when you view the colors, you say, how do they make me feel? Because when you understand how the colors make you feel, as your cortex broadens, you will see people just outside of your field of vision, and you'd be like, where the fuck that motherfucker come from? And when you look direct, you know they there, but you can't really see them. Yeah, that's the elders. But you will be able to perceive them when you tie your visual cortex to your emotion, because you can sense when somebody's close to you.
Okay.
Right? That's the same faculty you're developing when you study in Tantra.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The Qigong is teaching you how to work with energy, but more importantly, it's teaching you how to read the energy. In Qigong, you can't do Qigong healing if you can't sense the energy field in detail of the other person. All of these is our ancient sciences. That's all of that stuff that they talk about in India. India got one of the most expansive historical medical treatises on earth herbs. But we act like it's all folklore. It's just some made up shit they said to try to sound deep, like these Moors be doing.
you always coming at the Moors, right?
Only the dirty ones. I got mad love for the righteous Moors.
Indeed.
I could sit here and name righteous Moors for 5 hours straight without ever repeating the same one.
It's deep.
That's how many righteous Moors I know. Dirty Moors, I don't know that many. But the ones that's dirty, they some dirty motherfuckers.
So you was just talking about the eyes, Rod. Now, I've heard people say, and it's funny, Dr. B Series was just talking about the eyes. Last night, we was talking briefly about the eyes and how it's an instrument. Well, we're going to that later, but let me ask you this. I heard people say to protect your heart when you're around people. Yo, make sure you protect your heart. You know, that girl will break your heart, or that dude to break your heart, protect your heart. But I don't hear a lot of people say to protect your eyes. Now, if eyes are the windows to the soul, what's up with our eyes? Should we have more protection barriers? Is that why we should wear sunglasses? Or talk to me about the protection of our eyes.
Look, all the protection we need, we born with it. We just got to activate it. Right? Like, the only reason you got to protect your heart because you're born ignorant. If you was one of the wise ones, if you was born fully sentient, you ain't never got to worry about if you gonna get your heart broken. Now that ain't even an option.
You ever notice somebody looking at you and they're like trying to gaze in your eyes, like try to be a vampire? That ever happened to you? Those
sociopaths. I talked to serial killers in the joint, and some of them motherfuckers, there's nothing in there. I'm talking about a window to the soul, their windows broke out.
An empty vessel.
Empty vessel. And all they can do is recite how many motherfuckers they killed and how they killed them. And most of them didn't get caught for most of the dirt they did. But when you look at them, you know they not like us. Right? Then you got the ones, big lip ass motherfuckers, always got a kind game to run on you. Come here, good brother, let me holler at you for a minute. Don't good brother me. If you want all my motherfucking alarms to go off, call me good brother. When they come with that good brother shit, they come in with a kind game.
Oh man, come here. Oh man.
That mean they finna try to do something nefarious, and you gonna be the end up being the one holding the bag as victim or loser. It don't matter which one you gonna call it.
What was it you before that said talking about the eyes, the shape of the eyes mean you come from a different part of the galaxy? Was it you that said that? Talking about the different.
Dr. Carson eyes, unmistakably the eyes of his daddy. I mean, the eyes of Inky.
You talking about Billy Carson?
When you look in his eyes, just like you looking straight at Inky, but he ain't Inky.
Shit.
He don't put enough Captain Kirk emotion in this shit. That's how you know he ain't Inky. Inky is passionate about everything he do. And the only thing he care about, good food, good pussy, and goddamn good wine. He don't care about nothing else.
Man. So would you consider Earth a spaceship? I've heard certain people say that. Would you consider this
I call it spaceship Earth all the time.
That's spaceship Earth. So instead of looking at them as planets, we should look at them as spaceships? Like this whole thing? Saturn.
You got to develop your perception. I call it spaceship Earth for the Wizard of Oz effect. Right. So the ISIS seat is the cockpit. The man behind the curtain is in little bitch ass. Right. So when I say it's spaceship Earth, I'm using that to remind me, not nobody else, that somebody hijacked Earth and we about to take this bitch back because that's the only thing I care about, so I can go about my business. I hate social media. I'm not a public type character, right? But this information is more critical than what the fuck I feel like.
What's the deal with Akhenaten? Who was Akhenaten? What was he about?
Akhenaten, that's because they cloned him, right? And they named him Barry del Sortoro. He's an Akhenaten clone. So the royal families got a hierarchy of rulership, right? Tut rule was next, and it wasn't supposed to be Tahuti rule for another like 2,000 years. They cloned to make the older royal brother override his son, which was Tut. Right? The boy king to Amen, right? The boy king was the heir. So when you hear Pac say, am I wrong to fight for what's mine? This is what he's talking about. When he tell you back for everything they owe, no longer oppressed, this is what he's talking about. This his shit. He's supposed to be the one telling y'all this shit right now, but he would have been dead for real And instead of extract it, had he started dropping what he needed to drop. So what did he do? They pulled the emergency alert system to planet Earth, right? So he was there. It's called the Million Man March. The reason why they had to do the Million Man March, because I'm not going to participate if you niggas not going to get together for something. Y'all got to just stand together one time for something, and I'll tear this bitch up till they give it to you. And nobody wasn't standing up. They all got an excuse. They all after their own bag. They ain't doing nothing for the community. Everybody doing it for selfish game. I don't want no bunch of motherfucking selfish, self-centered, entitled ass feel like they've got something coming to them. No, you don't. You got to earn your keep, or you don't need to be here. So when they had the Million Man March, that was a massive alarm system alert. That means that even the dirty Moors forgot what the fuck was going on. Even they got this shit wrote down on the logs in the motherfucking Masonic lodges. And still forgot how to undo the shit. Because they can't read their own fucking code. They got half the keys. They call it broken keys, missing keys. That's because they're not doing the proper due diligence in order to get to a part to close the motherfucking shit out. If you go back and listen to my first dialogue with Todd, she said, as soon as I seen you, I said, here, close it. I'm not here. I don't want none of this shit. If my sisters can't have what's rightfully theirs, I will tear this bitch up. But we brain banging now. And I want to tear some shit up. Right? But they say that it ain't necessary. All I got to do is show them motherfuckers that my feathers whoop your feds. And I said, that's all I got to do? Call me the GOAT. Label me Baphomet. Classify me coming with the Lucifer lens. But as soon as y'all figure out what all that shit means, you be like, yep.
Let me get to this next question, Rod. When we die, our soul goes where?
Back to the source from which it came, meaning you go before the prime. Your soul is the energy of creation. First and foremost, you can't sell your soul. That shit is some in-lil bullshit. Can't nobody buy your soul, because if they did, they can't do nothing but give it to you. Your soul only fits you. It's not a motherfucking one-size-fit-all thing. Your soul is the sum total of who you are. So that's not some shit you can barter and trade, just like the earth. You can't sell earth. What kind of dumb shit is that? It was already here. It's gonna be here when you leave. Right? All of the chiefs know that. So when I hear somebody talking about buying land in America, I know they ain't from here. Anybody from America, that's the tribes, know that we operate by the great law. We don't follow man's law. So that's going to automatically make us an outlaw. Then you ask about Tut. About Akhenaten, ties back to the same thing. Right? So the outlaw lines are the lines of the kings and queens who was born from out of the direct royal family, and they all have an opportunity to take the test if they can develop the noble traits, the noble character. Right? That's what Noble Drew Ali name is telling you.
Who is Michelle? Because people are asking about Michelle. If Obama was the clone of Akhenaten, who is Michelle Queen Ty?
I don't fuck with Michelle like that, dog. There's more than one Michelle. One of them ain't no fucking woman. And there's another one that's a woman. And she's the one that was trying to get those girls out of the sex trafficking industry that bought them as her children. That's what that was all about. And they used the other one with the equipment, with the masculine equipment. I just never, that motherfucker always looked funny to me. I couldn't understand why nobody else didn't notice it. They told me I was hating on the black lady. And I was like, really? I guess y'all don't know Stallion is a man.
I ain't going there with you today, Rod. I ain't
I
going
look,
with you
I'm
today,
not
Rod.
gonna tell them to research Joshua Peak. I don't know nothing about that. I'm just saying, if the chief can't see a male horse from a female horse, he don't need to be in this position.
Man,
I know what a stallion is, and I know the mares run the motherfucking town. If you don't know the difference, then I feel for you.
Was Jamaica a special location in the old world?
All of the islands was revered by the peoples of the mainland. We will tear some shit up about them islands, but we all got invaded together. So this is why we used to work between North and South America and the Central American islands. Once the islands was developed, the big mamas from the mainlands was coming to us, but rare to them to the islands. And the families go on a retreat there, present the big mama of the island with the gifts. And then they send us back stuff that we would call delicacies from the island that we wouldn't otherwise see on the mainland. Right? So that's how we paid for their hospitality and their receiving us with open arms. If you go back to the Christopher Columbus story, they'll tell you soon as the boats got to the land, they came bearing gifts. The natives came bearing gifts. This is the custom. Mm-hmm. And then he came with a contract, and we ain't been right ever since.
Mm-hmm. Mm. Let's get to the next question. I just seen it. Where did it go? Damn, I seen the question. I don't know where it go. While I look for this question, Rod, you mentioned, I'm gonna ask you one earlier. You mentioned black goo. I forgot what we was talking about, but you talked about the substance black goo. Could you elaborate on what this black goo was that you talked about a little earlier?
Yeah, it's Anunnaki nanotech. It can be passed on genetically because it's created between the third and fourth dimension. So it got a different set of properties. If you go to the Qigong healers, they'll tell you they've been seeing this a lot. A lot of people was breaking free from the black goo, right? But it's a very specific nanotechnology that creates what's called sentient metals. And they come in and they ride on your DNA. And that's how they keep you from accessing your chakras. But now the solar rays is designed by Enki that when the human body starts going into the Aquarian cycle, the black goo will start to lose its potency on the human being because we're starting to upgrade in our power. It won't work no more. We in the process now where before the energy healers couldn't see it. Now they can see it.
Okay. Let's get to a super chat question. Are you familiar with the concept of creating your astral pyramid? That the same way the Bible talks about a mansion in heaven.
So it's not a pyramid. Your astral, what are you talking about? It's the same as Metatron's cube. That's your Merkaba.
Merkaba, okay. Yeah, I thought it was
right. That's your Merkaba. That's the energy ship for you to travel to other galaxies and universes. When you leave the physical avatar of the body, you have to use your mind to create the Merkaba in order for it to transport you. Remember, I was telling you in some places you could think of the blueprint and tell the metal to do it, and it'll just form it. It kind of work along the same principles, but you designing your own light ship. It's made out of bending rays of light into conscious mind with the conscious mind tapping into the subconscious.
Okay. Let's get to the next question. Okay. Has Rod ever heard of Kimberly and Gauguin from Life Force?
Gauguin from Life Force. I don't know. I can't say I have. The name written looks familiar, but I be reading so much stuff until it comes to necessary. Like 2 days from now, I might remember clearly who she is. I mean, it'd have been a while since I accessed that information, but consciously off the top of my head, I don't know who she is, but the name looks familiar.
Okay. Can you talk about the Serpent Mounds in Ohio?
They ain't just in Ohio. There was those serpent mounds are sacred centers of energy to harness certain spiritual essence by the clans whose blood sink to those mounds. All of the mounds that you see on the planet, all of the pyramids and what you call megalithic structures that was made by man are all genetically synced to a bloodline of one of the original 12 daughters of Isis.
Okay. Let's get to the next question. What is your take on Rashad Jamal?
That's divine insight. Reincarnated Jean-Baptiste Dusable. No, not Dusable. He was Toussaint Louverture. And the reason he locked up is because they playing out the Haitian Revolutionary Conjure in reverse, and he's a critical piece. So if you go back and read the Haitian Revolutionary Conjure and you overlay his life with Toussaint, you understand why they had to lock him up before they release him. It's because you have to close it the same way you opened it. That's because everything is in cycles. So you got to wait until the alignment of the stars and the energy of the earth meet to a certain position to exit. So when you leaving out, you see the mirror of what you saw going in. It's called a turnaround. So in order for him to get the turnaround, he got to go through this shit, bullshit, made up ass shit, until they start doing certain energy moving exercises in IAT.
Let's get to this question. Is there a link between the Gullah Sumerian goddess and the Gullah Geechee of the Carolinas?
I wouldn't say it's a direct link, but they could be bloodline relatives, but I don't know if the name is betraying that. Because Enki had children with multiple earthborn women all over the planet. And that's one of his tribes that's in the land of Tahuti, is the Gullah Geechee. And you got the Gullah Geechee, the Getty Geechee, the Gullah Getty Geechee. They're all different tribes, but that's telling you they point of origin. I don't remember reading about the Gullah Sumerian goddess. So I have to go back to my tablets and review that in order to give you a definitive answer if they're related.
Okay, next question. What are rainbows in the sky? My daughter always sees them before me. Rainbows in the sky.
Those are refractions of light from the mist and the rays of the sun reflecting off the water in the atmosphere. The density of it or the curvature of the upper atmosphere makes it look curved, right? But if you follow the mist, you can find the end of the rainbow. And they write about it biblically as the sign of an eternal covenant, because they always been here, they're gonna always be here. So the rainbow being a symbol for the permanent covenant or the eternal covenant, which is that the women will always have first right to the earth rights. And now we going back to honor that. But that's why they use the rainbow as a symbol of an eternal covenant, right? Because they always been there ever since the dome or the atmospheric structure looked like it bends the light.
Okay.
Your daughter might be an indigo too, because she could see them. Remember I was talking about the spectrum of light? It worked with the rainbows too. Sometimes she could be tuning the father in to the spectrum she on by making him see the rainbow, because he might have to look just his eyes just slightly off in order to see on her frequency. So she'll see it first. And she might be an indigo because she can see a broader spectrum of light than the average child.
Okay. Do we incarnate in every age?
No. Only the masters, like I'm only going to come back when it's like I'm the last resort. Normally I come back, they don't wake me up. They don't want me in this shit. Right? So most of my past lives, I never woke to who I am like I am now in this life. But we don't always reincarnate in every age, but we will reincarnate in every cycle of ages, which is a 24,000 year loop. And you can reincarnate at different periods. You could skip a whole age and be in every other age, the other 3 ages in the cycle.
Okay. There's some good information here, y'all. Damn, the chat moving so fast, y'all. I'm happy, y'all. Okay. Why I only see spaceships in the dream world and not my day-to-day?
They talking to you in the dream world. Don't think because you don't see them in your day-to-day that that's any less valuable than seeing them in your dream. Some people don't get that lucky. Right? So your dream self, which is your higher body, when you go into the dream state, you're either going to travel for studying, most of those are masters, or you on the life review. The life review come in as abstract, is based off your emotional triggers and have you learned from the last time you fucked up. And then your dreams will start telling stories that you're supposed to learn from. But we've been taught to disassociate the dream world from the physical world, right? But the spaceships in the dream world is the same as seeing them in the physical world, technically, because they're between the 5th and the 4th dimension at that point, which means in the 3D world, they just out of your visual spectrum of light.
Okay. How do we access the Akashic records?
So you can access the Akashic records through meditation, but it takes years of meditating. The Akashic records is not really what you want to access unless you're trying to do the work that I'm doing, trying to get the whole earth back to the women. But normally your book of life will tell you everything that you need to know, because before you take physical form, you put it in your book of life at critical points what you want to happen to alert you to certain information, right? So the high masters read the Akashic records just like reading off a chalkboard. It's like holographically in front of them. Some of them emotively, they can read their emotions so well they can put them in words. Those are called poets.
Wow. What is the purpose of twin flames, Brother Rod?
The twin flames is really it's really no true such thing as a twin flame. But you got what's called a promise, which is your counterpart that's you made the agreement with to aid and assist you in finding your balance in the earth realm so you can get your faculties and remember who the fuck you is. The twin flame drama has been, with the so-called woke movement, drawn completely out of proportion, highly distorted, and it also causes people to neglect their shadow work because they're looking for somebody else called a twin flame to come do it for them. But you're supposed to be soul groups. You come in a soul group. Your soul group emerged from the essence that you emerged from at the same time you did. It's like giving birth to twins, but only through different people on different parts of the planet. Or they could be in the same part of the planet, but you might not meet them for years to come. So when you feel that draw to them, that's why they call it the twin flame. It's like a mirror flip.
Okay. Trying to give me 1 second, Rod. Give me 1 second. All right. Can Rod talk about Haile Selassie and Rastafari?
Haile Selassie, the Earthborn. Malachi wrote a book called Haile Selassie the Christ, where he gives his whole lineage. And the reason he did that, so he can prove that Haile Selassie wasn't from Enlil's in line. Once he proved that he wasn't a so-called, then I knew he was an Earthborn. He reincarnated in the guy named Hermes Ashkaron. That's who he reincarnated as. The Rastafari was the name the Rastas gave him, but he didn't refer to himself as Rastafari. But that was his original name before he ascended the emperor's seat over Ethiopia. His name was Rastafari. But Haile Selassie became his name after the name change. And the reason why the Rastas focused on Haile Selassie because they knew that he would be instrumental. Okay, so you're looking at the elders in the hills of Jamaica, and they talking to nature, and nature is talking back to them. They reading this play written by Marcus Garvey about the last king being crowned in Africa, right? And that's the king of heaven and earth, which there has never been one before. So when they see Haile Selassie, he wasn't crowned as king. He was crowned as emperor. That's a whole different person from the prophecy they extracted from the translation of the play using, but they knew that somewhere over there in the Abzu, somebody would emerge at the close of the age to fix this shit, and that Haile Selassie had transmuted his energy from the Rastafari to Haile Selassie, right? King of King, Lord of Lords, conquering lion of the tribe of Judah. But he ain't no, so they telling us that he's gonna be instrumental and critical at the close of the age in order to close out everything and see clearly what's to take place. And for those who don't know, Hermes Ashkenaz, Hermes is the same as saying Hermes in Greek, right? And that's another name for Tahuti. Mm-hmm. And Ashkenaz, I forgot what that means. I used to know what it means. But that, for the ones in on the West Coast, they know him to be Nipsey Hussle. Right? So if you go back and you study Nipsey, you'll see he had a meteoric rise and then he disappeared. They say he got murdered.
Right.
Right? That's the sign of a master that can, the phoenix, where he can burn in his own ashes and rise from them. It's the same with Tupac, Biggie, Eazy-E. They all followed the same pattern of the rise of the phoenix. That's because they was all chiefs on the land working to aid and assist in the closing of the conjure at the close of the age, because didn't nobody think that anybody would be able to do it. So all of the masters are in America right now. And you know them as historical figures, but those people have reincarnated to make sure this shit get done right. They wanted to see, what do it look like when the shit get closed the right way? So they told them I was coming, and they all said I gotta be there, including the dirty ones. And who told y'all Dick Gregory was dead? Did anybody see his funeral?
I think Dr. B. Sirius was at his funeral.
Did he check to see if that was a mummy, a wooden figure, or that was really Dick?
I don't think so. I'm not sure.
Because I got the message today that he don't say be firm.
There you go again, Rod. There you go again, Rod.
Tell me how much sense this make. They say this man just had a heart attack. Right? He been a vegan for most of his life. So he don't got no plaque buildup from polyunsaturated fats from eating bovine meat and pork. He don't got high cholesterol from eating unsaturated fats and bovine beef. Right? So his system would look like any 30-year-old system because it hasn't been abused. So what make you think he just gonna have a heart attack and die? Huh? Trying to tell you something.
You hit him with the
hood. Don't ask me what, you stupid or something? Are you stupid? Huh? Are you stupid?
That's how he
Stop falling for every goddamn trick they throw in the book. Everybody they tell you dead ain't got to be dead. This is a world. It's a big place. They can hide motherfuckers anywhere. Some of them be hiding in plain sight, and y'all just don't see them. Sometimes I point them out just to prove to y'all that I know what the fuck I'm talking about. But most of the time, I just overlook Shock G. Digitally underground.
When you hear the ring, a lot of people are interested in the ringing in your ears. When you hear the ringing in your ears, is there anything specific we should do?
All the instructions follow the mass ringing in the ears. That's why they've been trying to prop it up to be some kind of medical disorder. So you would try to run from it when it happens. Ain't no escaping it. You're going to be scanned by the elders for genetic health. That's what that's going to be. They're going to be reading your genetic health, and then they're going to be reading your spiritual reservoir. Your spiritual reservoir tells them how much self-work you did to be able to ascend. If you ain't do your shit, then Earth will disassociate the synchronization, and all of those people are just going to be. I've been telling them this for 3 years. They just think I'm crazy. I don't know what I'm talking about. That's why all of them got to leave for a period of time. It's going to take about 12 years for anybody that don't belong on the Earth to be able to come back in, because she's going to send out a frequency. They going to tell you that it's a banshee screaming. We ain't going to hear it. But it's going to be so loud, they're going to be bleeding out their eyes, bleeding out their ears, and they're going to say it sounds like a banshee screaming. We're not going to hear it, though, because we sink to the Earth. And that's the only thing they're going to be able to, because that's the only thing where it's recorded where they'll know. Rip up the stomachs and wombs of their women and crush their infants' heads against the wall in order to annihilate forever their execrable race. That when the same cannot be done openly, I will secretly use the poison cup, the strangling cord, the steel of the poignard, which is it's like a dagger, or the leaden bullet, regardless of the honor, rank, dignity, or authority of the person or persons, whatever may be their condition in life, either public or private, as I at any time may be directed to do so by an agent of the Pope or superior of the Brotherhood of the Holy Faith of the Society of Jesus. Now, the Pope issue was known as, it's hard to read on here, but it's the most violent, bloody oath for the papacy. Now, a lot of it might seem like, when you read the body of it, it might seem, because of the wording back then was drastically different, and the F sometimes looked like an S.
Okay.
Right. But when you zoom in to that marquee paragraph right there. All right. So this is the papal's most wicked and bloody oath of secrecy. And then right here in the headline, it says, for the murdering of kings, princes, and slaying of people. I can't even read it on here.
Yeah.
But this is the oath, and so the marquee statement is the application of the white man's burden. So Rudyard Kipling was a poet, and he wrote this to explain what the white man's burden was in relation to the organic peoples of the land that they call the infidels and the peasants and the goyim. He was a good friend with Cecil Rhodes. And Cecil Rhodes, Rudyard Kipling, was good friends with Cecil Rhodes. Cecil Rhodes was given the army by, I think it was the Dutch, to settle the Congo, settle the African Congo. That was part of the scramble. See what them dudes in the barrel? That's it. So this is a poetic description of the white man's burden. In order to understand the white man's burden, you need to know who in the hell is a white man. Right? Because when they first came over here, they was melanated beings, but they called themselves Dutch, Portuguese, French, Englishmen, conquistadors, which were Spaniards, and they called themselves blackamoors. Right? So right here, zoom in a little bit more, Elder. This is Black's Law definition of a free white person, or a white person in law, right? It's a free white persons referred to in Naturalization Act as amended by Act of July 14th, 1870, has meaning naturally given to it when first used in First State 103, Section 3, meaning all persons belonging to the European races then commonly counted as white, and their descendants, including such descendants in other countries to which they have immigrated. It includes all out the gate, more or less intermixed with people of Celtic, Scandinavian, Teutonic, Iberian, Latin, Greek, and Slavic descent. It includes Magyars, Lapps, and Finns, and the Basques and Albanians. It includes the mixed Latin, Celtic, Iberian, and Moorish inhabitants of Spain and Portugal. Those are conquistadors they talking about. When they say Moorish inhabitants of Spain and Portugal, this is your conquistadors, right? Hold on, I gotta find my spot.
Right here, the mix.
The mixed Greek, Latin, Phoenicians, and North African inhabitants of Sicily. For those who don't know, after the wars with Hannibal, they exiled all of a sizable portion of the melanated population to the island to try to stamp out the Etruscans, which is the Moors in Italy, right? It says, and the mixed Slav, which means slave, and Tartar inhabitants of South Russia. It does not mean Caucasian race. Caucasians are white people. It don't mean Aryan race. Aryans are Hindus, Vedics, or Indo-European races, right? Indo mean ancient Europeans. Neo mean new Indo-Europeans. Nor the mixed Indo-European, Dravidian, Semitic, Mongolian people who inhabited Persia. This is the ones that they passed off as the $5 Indian, right? A Syrian or Asiatic birth and descent will not be entitled as becoming a naturalized citizen of the United States as being a free white person. So now they told you exactly who they is. Now, if you know who they is in history, you know who they are today. It's a clear as day that it does not mean Caucasian race. It does not mean Aryan race or Indo-European races, nor the mixed Indo-European, Dravidian, Semitic, and Mongolian peoples who inhabited Persia, which is the Middle East. A Syrian and Asiatic birth and descent will not be entitled to become a naturalized citizen of the United States as being a free white person. Everybody else is by default subject to be classified as black. And black is a chess term, right? So type in on the Google, who moved first in chess?
The pawns. You can move the knight though.
And the colors is moved by color.
Oh, okay, all right. Oh, shit. The white always go for.
Unless you're playing Rasta chess, you can turn that shit around.
Yeah,
Attack the attacker.
Yeah, right. Alchemy. Hey, also to add to on that slide you just went over, when you think about what he's talking about, think about the movie Avatar and how these Caucasians use people that look like the natives, but they wasn't the natives. They came
right. They
looking like this.
Avatar suits.
Yeah.
That's what the movie is about.
Pocahontas. It's the Pocahontas storyline. Go ahead, bro.
Yep. So the what I tell you, look up again.
Yeah, damn, my bad. You said look up
who moves first on the chessboard.
Yeah. Okay, all right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
White man. Ah, shit. Oh, right.
Wow.
Read what it say,
Damn, they went hard on that. In all international and public chess matches, the tournament, however, it is the rules for the first player to have the white man. Damn. Thus, there was a growing consent that white should move first. What?
Wow.
That's
Okay,
crazy.
now look, type in Moors and say Moors playing chess. This they game. They figured we would never learn how to play chess on their level. They got me fucked up.
My children are all chess champions. Go ahead.
See them?
Yeah.
Okay, next thing after we look at this, these Moors playing chess, I need you to pull up on YouTube Mash Speed Mama Bear. This they game. I don't see no pale faces, but I sure see the white man, right? Because they the ones that attack. They are the offenders.
Free white man.
That's why he's a free white person in law, because the law don't apply to him, because he's the one that's the wielder of law as the tool of oppression. Okay, now pull up my Mashpee Mama Bear on YouTube.
While you're doing that, Brother Hayes, I need to make a statement and have you to say something about it. Dr. Francis Cress Welsing talked about the chessboard and how the white pieces always move first, and therefore they're in offense, and the black people move second, which means that black people are in defense. But now I don't know if she was actually saying what I'm about to say, or we just assumed she was talking about Caucasians moving first on a chessboard, and the so-called black people, or us melanated people, are always in defensive mode.
You ever seen her husband?
I heard he was German. I heard that's where the name Welsing come from. I don't know if that's true or not.
Anyway, she know what was going on. The ISIS paper, Keys to the Colors, is the name of the paper.
Yes. Okay. Wow.
She's telling you that the chess game, the mover as the attacker on the chess is.
So she was essentially telling us what was going on in codes.
Yep. All you had to do was know how to match the keys up.
Thank you. Thank you.
Decolonize your mind. Now in here, this is the elder Mama Bear speaking from 7 generations back, telling us the message that she got off the Mama Bear line. And the message was that the black people, the ones that look like us, had to go in to be treated like the other people that look like us. The same. Both of us fucked up. But they was the ones behind the scenes controlling it the whole time. Let's rock.
The dirty Moors are the ones behind the scenes.
This is a message from one of the elders in the community. Now notice she said that we made agreement to do the slavery thing. Slavery is a misnomer. It's a cover story to conceal the conjuring.
Prisoners of war.
Yeah. So go type in David Walker's appeal.
You said we, as in the indigenous or the organic people of the land, agreed to slavery?
I'm gonna explain to you in 1 second.
Okay.
Yeah, Africans that were brought over here.
Okay.
No, it wasn't Africans. It was organic people already over here.
Yeah, prisoners of war. Hey, Rob, what you want me to read on this one?
pull up the book cover. I want to show them what book to get for what I'm about to talk about.
Which one you like, Rod?
The one you got is fine. Okay, so David Walker was one of the chiefs on the land, and he noticed an anomaly, right? And the anomaly was there was some people that looked like us that was in bondage on the land. He wanted to know who they was. So he wrote the David Walker's Appeal. This was the first of the chiefs to launch an investigation into the different brown-skinned people over here that looked like us, but wasn't us. That's what this is all about. This is the discourse of one of the chiefs. He put it in the public domain for the rest of the chiefs to get it. Now, Dr. Pruitt just asked, did we volunteer to go into slavery? We went into a conjure war. Slavery is the cover story of the conjure war. It was never true. It was the artificial history, because remember in the George Washington Challenge, they were supposed to treat us harshly for 200 years, and we don't even know what side of the water we originate from. The slave narrative was to try to convince us that we ain't from this land, and then the dirty Moors would say, see, I told y'all we the chiefs over here. So the challenge was fezzes versus feathers. I sent you a picture of E40. Can you pull it up?
Are you saying that the slavery narrative that we were taught is not what happened? Is not true?
It's not true. It's a cover story.
I've been saying for the longest time that if we actually do our own history according to our family's lineage, most of us, if not all of us, will learn that chattel slavery, as we were told, did not happen.
That's absolutely correct. They took mama name, Big Mama House became the Big House.
Yeah, I got one of their phases too, bro. I gotta add to that collection. You know what I'm saying? Them clowns that know about the bounds. You know what I'm talking about?
You see E40, right?
Yeah, come ahead, go ahead.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, now notice his fez is to the right. Right? Where's his tassel? It's to the right, ain't it?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's because he bumped the Moors for the fez. And the one that he bumped for the fez was high ranking. He was a king. That's why he's wearing the lion pelt. Gonna come into America is your reference.
When you say bump the Moors, what does that mean?
Okay, so the chiefs is paired up in a debate of knowledge, of culture, morals versus dogma. If he don't fall for the dogma and stand on his moral principle, he can't be deceived. If the Moor failed to convert him, then he bumped the Moor for the feds. If the Moor convert him, the Moor bump him for the feathers. Right? So the rule was for him to be exposed at a high level, he would have to do what's called peacekeeper duties in the community. So when you go to the Bay Area and you ask about 40 water, right? Utmost respect. He's passed off as a rapper. But he's actually a social advocate for gang peace by talking to the OGs from both sides to teach the YGs the proper interactions with each other to keep the COINTELPRO operation neutralized in the Bay. So without me ever talking to Eve, talk a little bit about the Empire State, because a lot of people don't know what the Empire State is or what it represents, right? So we had to find a way to make the imposters reveal who they are, right? So they can't keep it a secret. Everything they have to do they have to do it where they leave us an opportunity to discover the condition we in. In legal terms, that's called the right to discovery, in legal terminology. So, in the right to discovery, the prosecutor charge you with a case, and he's telling you under this, and then they give you the right of discovery. Now, discovery is when the prosecution reveal evidence that they have pertaining directly to the case. Now that they got to reveal this to you, the information that's tied directly to the case, you can get a chance to see what they are really holding and how they are holding you in custody with their shenanigans. Now, I'm going to do a few more invites because I want to give a few people a chance to get up in here and see what's what. Because we're going to separate these imposters from these real people. And all these imposters don't really believe that we're going to discover them. So I'm going to show you how we're going to do this. Y'all got to watch. Because it all comes out in the end. So I'm going to do a couple more invites here. And I'm going to show you how I'm the prime, right? You got to look at the Transformers. That's just a story to give us a guideline to know that when we all come together, we are powerful and unstoppable forces. I'm the prime. I'm the motherfucking head of the Autobot. And I'm about to set this motherfucking Autobot up right in their face, and then they're going to be twisted in the brain. And they're going to be able to figure out how they figure this shit out. They figured this shit out because the Monkey King is back with this monkey man under wraps. So, go to the Nazca lines for your beginning. The Nazca lines is going to tell you a story. And they've been trying to figure out the Nazca lines for years. For years. I'm not going to tell y'all what they is right now, but I'm going to point out a couple of symbols in there. One, you see the phoenix bird. And for two, you see a monkey. The irony is the particular monkey strain that is not from South America, it's from Africa. Or what we call Africa today. And in the process of looking at the Nazca lines, that's telling you something. So now what do you connect this to? You connect it to, as the sun shine in the east, even unto the west, so shall the coming of the Son of Man be. What do that mean? Well, the sun rises in the east and sets in the west. So when you look at the symbol of the monkey, if you go to the east, you'll find Sun Wukong in China, you'll find Hanuman in India, the east. Then it sets in the west. And you got this monkey in this Nazca strip to show you that the sun also sets in the west. So the whole thing about the Nazca lines is they are a sign for a specific time. From there, you go to back to your historical record. Now, when we talk about historians, over here we have a historian on YouTube named Dane Calloway. And Dane Calloway is tasked with the job of digging up the skeleton from the grave, so to speak, and reassembling the body. And he needed to do that in order for us to have references. And if you go to his channel, he got a lot of good videos. In one of his videos, he got a picture of Europeans landing in America. And behind this European, they got this little black guy looking like he's terrified. And don't nobody know what that is. So let me give y'all a little help. I told y'all before in one of my videos, Truth in Plain Sight videos, that Peter Falk, or Peter the Falcon, was a clue. And he played Columbo. And Columbo was the name of Christopher Columbus, who was actually a investigator. So when you go back and you look at the history, they even tell you he's an investigator. What is he an investigator for? He's working for somebody else, but they are presenting him to the Queen to get funding. And he has a navigator, a little black guy named Peter the Black, or Pietro del Negro. And that's a Spanish name. Pay attention. It's a Spanish name. Pay attention. So this little black guy came from Spain. He didn't come from the Caribbean because they hadn't found that yet, according to the historical record. And he didn't. So he couldn't in the historical record. So they didn't find that yet. Ooh. You all right? Okay. So let me get back to this. So yeah, they ain't know he know what's real. See, they can't trick him. Like a lot of our historians can be deceived, but you can't deceive Dane Calloway because he know what's up. So let's deal with this Pietro del Negro, or Peter the Black. Peter the Black history is pretty obscure for some reason. Why they don't want us to know who he is? Because, you know, they always got a habit of hiding the history. So it's ironic that Peter the Black was the navigator. What do that mean? He was the star reader. He was the star reader that was to guide the investigator Columbo to the new land. Now, they told y'all about a new world order. They didn't tell y'all that we've been under the new world for hundreds of years since them suckers landed over here and we lost the war. They said that this was the new world. So all of this old American colonial garbage is the fault of those hidden hands. Now, we see I'm going to give you an example of a hidden hand, because don't nobody think that we can ever figure this out. Point a couple things out. World War II, Adolf Hitler, they said he was the wickedest man that ever lived. Not really. Not even close. He didn't kill more people than Stalin. He didn't kill more people than Lenin. He didn't kill more people than Mao. But mind you, they all getting out the imposters for this time, because we needed to have it where when we make this move, we don't fail. So Adolf Hitler in Mein Kampf, there was a story that he's telling about a lady that turned on them, that turned on the Reich. And this lady that turned on the Reich was found dead in the woods, and above her head was a note pinned to the tree. And the note read, "You bitch, you have betrayed the fatherland. Now you have been judged by the black hand." The fuck is the black hand? My father was a little boy. He used to tell us these stories when I was a shorty. He said, "I don't know who these people is." He said, "But we was terrified of the black hand. Every time somebody started getting some money, they tell them, hey, you can't be getting all that money, man. You're going to have to answer to the black hand." So where's the black hand? So remember, we got to have a dog in every fight in this divide and conquer mechanism that was laid down in Babylon. A dog in every fight. Now, peep game. Go to California now and look at the Jewish Defense League. If you look at their symbol is the black fist. Why do these pale-skinned fake Jews have a black fist for their symbol? It doesn't make sense. Don't make sense. That don't match, because they think about, according to the record keepers over there in Israel, they look at us the same way, or even worse than other Caucasians. They look at us as like we are their source of economics. We the source. We the root. We like to, when you dig a mine in the ground and you get the material, the minerals out, we they mineral. Everywhere we set up shop, you found Jewish shops set up in our community. Everywhere. And these Jewish shops would always try to suck us blood dry, but they would always make us have this illusion that they're giving us a deal. They call it Jewing you down. I'm going to go Jew him down for that price on that, because that's too much. He's going to charge you $50 for something, you Jew him down to $25, but it's really only worth $10. Most people don't understand the Jew process, to Jew him down. So now, the black hand is the black fist of the Jewish Defense League. I want y'all to think about that. Let that sink in. It has a black fist representing Jews, and the Jews are imposters. So who is behind it? Who's pushing the agenda with this black hand? Now, is it anywhere else? Is it anywhere else? It's a political text called The Unseen Hand by Ralph Epperson, where he was able to discover a massive amount of information on the deception. And I told y'all we just recapping and mostly dropping references, so put that in y'all codex. Ralph Epperson, The Unseen Hand. He got a lot of information in there that's going to open you up to this political scam. All right? So, Dane Calloway, who was actually he's an Olmec. See? So we had different tribes. He was from the Olmecs. And that's why when you look down there, when you look at his picture of Dane Calloway, he looked just like an Olmec. When you look at me and you look at the long face, then you already know what you're dealing with. You know where I'm from. I'm from the Washita Nation before they were Washita Moors. I am Quetzalcoatl of the Aztecs, but because of the conditioning, I had to come under a different tribe, the tribe of the Chief of the Two Feathers, Chief Pontiac. And the two feathers represent the truth. And all Moors know that Chief Pontiac standing on his 45 holding up his second, meaning that he's firmly, squarely standing on the truth. He don't give a damn what they think about it. So, what do this mean? Let me give y'all some more references about some stuff I said before about the entertainment industry being controlled by hidden forces. I told y'all that Farrakhan was sent to L. Ron Hubbard for a reason. Because under Dianetics, you can't get extorted by Hollywood. They don't extort them. They can't, because the power and the force of this group is too strong. Now, a lot of people get the founder, Mary Eddy, mixed up with Mary Baker Eddy. Mary Baker Eddy was the founder of Christian Science, and the other lady was the founder of the Church of Scientology, but they are interrelated. See, we made agreements to get out from under this oppressive regime of these imposters a long time ago. Those who did not have the right to ascend would become grateful when they was given that opportunity to go to the next level and to be able to perform. So, I mentioned the Oscars before being an award for Europeans, and Oscar was a black guy. Because they were, it was designed for them, people that look like us didn't get awards at the Oscars. Because it wasn't for us. See, I mentioned as another reference, the painting that Leonardo da Vinci put up that shows you the whole man in biomechanics, the complete and perfected man. But what is he talking about? The complete and perfected man. Well, we all know that Solomon was the builder of the temple. Solomon is the soul of the man, and in the temple that he was building was the temple of man, and this particular man was the last addition to the human family that was being used as an oppressor. The whole thing was that we would all one day be so confused that we rise up and just start killing all of the Caucasians, all these Europeans. They ain't the problem and they ain't the source. I told y'all they're not the problem, they're not the source. In order for you to escape the dividing... Come here! In order for you to escape the divide and conquer mechanism, you have to be able to have a dog in every fight, and you have to be able to... Hey, I'm going to push this on pause for a minute while I got to deal with something. All right, so we go back to the structure, and we go back to the references. Everything is discoverable if you know what you're looking for. Everything is discoverable. So we got to put all the pieces together. So we got somebody in every fight. We got a dog in every fight. I want to go back to Noble Drew Ali because don't nobody understand how he started a whole different organization. right? He started a different Moorish organization. Go back to the beginning, it was called the Moorish Zionist Temple of Islam. The Moorish Zionist Temple of Islam. Now, who in the hell is them people and where are they at today? I don't know. What happened to Noble Ali? We had a meeting in the travel lodge years ago. And they realized it was a piece missing. So they called a brother up from Jamaica, Marcus Mosiah Garvey, to give us the final piece to the puzzle so that we could put this African conjure down on their head. They can't escape it. See, what we did is a reversal conjure. A reversal conjure. That means that all of the dirt they playing for us go back to them. Right? All of the backbiting, all of the thievery go back to them. So in this process, we put a dog in every fight. Noble Drew Ali was our first point man in the Moorish temple. Now, there's a difference between a Moor, there's a Moabite, and Almoravid. The defenders of the faith are not the same as Moors. Almoravid, as you can find them, Dr. Ivan Van Sertima will talk about them and how they came from the Holy City and helped to establish schools all the way over as far west as Morocco. But they wasn't Moroccan. They wasn't Moors. And then we looked at that. If Almoravids were the defenders of the faith, then they called the people from Morocco Moray. Those are two different groups of people. Because, as you know, Greek was written by Egyptian priests. And Latin was written by Carthaginian priests. Now watch the move. Hannibal, he was a Carthaginian, and he was on a march to crush the enemy, which was Rome. He was on a march to crush them. He had took a vow to his father, Hamilcar, that under no circumstances would he make allegiance with them imposters that was pretending to be righteous under the Roman emperors. But he was fighting them, and you watch what happened. One of the ones in Carthage that looked like him sold him out. He cut the money off. See, now we're dealing with economics again. We're dealing with this money situation. Everything on this planet, the Creator put it here for us to use for free. Only thing we're supposed to pay for it is labor and effort. Now, when you get to the point where we are now, the system and the structure of the system requires economics in order to survive, because of the way it's set up. I can survive off the fat of the land. I don't need money. I can live in the jungle. All right. So we'll go back and then we'll come back to this. Dane Calloway, historian. I gave you references about Moors. Yesterday I told you about my Angel Bay. Yep. I told you about Larry Hoover. But I didn't tell you about Tukey on the West Coast or none of the Bloods on the West Coast. I didn't tell y'all about that. Now, I touched on
Son, John.
Hey, now you notice the sign is upside down. You think that's an accident?
Nah. The end. It says
Right. So they
Alan
flipped it.
G.
Then these is the people, the crew of the Ella Fitzgerald, and this is the memorial.
Okay.
It was 29 people that was casualties on the Ella Fitzgerald.
Okay.
The Ella Fitzgerald was flipped over in Lake Superior.
Okay.
So they're saying that the ship flipped in the superior spirit realm first. It was a spiritual war.
Okay.
All right. And the seas The lakes were as vast as the seas was the flip from the fresh water to the salt water.
Okay.
That's how we end up in the bay. So from the bay, it's telling us that somebody, which we discovered was 40 water, was keeping the guys, the OGs, solid together. He was like a binding agent.
I want to say Easy E with the Crips. I mean, Easy 40 with the Crips too. But he
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if
I don't know if he is a Crip. I know he connected with the Crips though.
Yeah, he connected with all of them because in the bay, for what they saying he's doing, he's being a peacekeeper between the clans.
Okay.
Right now, remember, blessed are the peacemakers, for theirs should be the kingdom of heaven. Right.
Yeah.
So we're looking for a peacemaker like 40 water, but we're looking for somebody that he's working with that would be considered his OG.
Man, it's got to. I'm trying to think of who they could be though. That's a. And if that dude is he hiding in the background, or do we know it's? Can we we've seen him before we do it?
I don't know yet.
I think it's Farrakhan.
I'm just following the signs, and the signs is unraveling what it unraveling.
I think it's a Farrakhan now. E40 on the Farrakhan now. I don't know, man, because Farrakhan a little feisty though. So
no, when she says set it adrift.
Did they tell
you? It's the more. Go to the search bar.
All right, right here.
When you come back to the video.
Okay, all right. Go to Google search bar.
Yep.
I got you.
Under images, type in Moorish sacred drift.
Oh shit. We got it, bro.
This T. Rogers.
Oh, this right here, yeah. You see it? What you need?
It's right gonna be a book. Put book behind it.
Right here. Here you go. Right here. Is it Peter some Sacred Drift?
Yep.
Right here with Double Jew Ali on the cover.
All
right, I got you. Let me blow it up. Man, you be giving us some good books every time, bro. Hey, shit that I ain't never heard of. I went to a library, bookstores, everything. I ain't never seen the books you be talking about. Somebody like you be giving me some good shit. Like this book, I ain't never heard of this book. I got a lot of books. Man, Sacred Drift. This right here gotta be some high power alchemy right here. What the hell is going on here, Rod?
Yeah, it is some high powered alchemy. This is called a knock from the past. It's a message from Noble Jew Ali that was carried by one of his students into the future on his behalf.
Okay.
In order to get the secrets out into the public domain. You see his hand?
Yeah. I have a
right.
Right.
But it also with no glove on.
Okay, yeah, that's right.
Right. The right hand reveals the secrets in the public domain. He's talking about Michigan.
Okay.
The right hand of God.
Yeah, that hand,
right hand to earth.
My bad for cutting in. But that
scroll up to the names. Scroll up to the names and see what they say.
Peter LeBourne Wilson.
Okay. Now, the first thing I noticed about that name
is what?
It say Lamborn.
Yep.
Who wrote the book of Lam?
Baba.
Who gave the prophecy of the book of Lam?
Elijah.
Okay, this is already documented, right?
Yeah.
So Peter, meaning father, right?
Mm-hmm.
But Peter was told in the Bible on this rock, right?
Yeah.
I'll build my temple.
Uh-huh.
Right?
Uh-huh.
Now, we know in the lodge that the rock is the stone that the builders rejected.
The cornerstone.
Becomes the chief cornerstone. Chief cornerstone.
That's right.
Right? And this is Will's son.
Will's son. That's right. Let's do it.
Right. But here's the kicker. Believe it or not, Will's son is my father.
Okay. Go ahead.
My grandfather's name is Will.
Okay.
And that make my father Will's son.
That's right. That's it.
Peter, the one who knows about the book of Lamb, is born to Will's son. The father was born to Will's son. That's a message from Noble Drew Ali, standing between both pillars, Joaquin and Boaz. Severity and mercy on the straight up 45.
That's right.
That's an upright man revealing the secrets to the public. This is instructions from what to do from Noble Drew Ali to me through his students. This is called reaching into the future.
What's this sword right here in the ground? Like, well, all this stuff down here.
Those are different symbols that goes to the rulership. That's King Arthur's sword.
Okay.
My father's name was Arthur.
Go ahead.
Right? So you got to pull the sword by having the blood.
Okay.
You get the blood from the motherland on the red house, which is the red roses.
Mm-hmm.
There's 3 red roses because you need 3 sisters to bless you in.
Mm-hmm. You got like a ghost or somebody in the background watching them in the future or something with the Sphinx in the background. Why Noble Drew Ali got the desert and the Sphinx in the background?
Because he came across the burning sands.
Okay, yeah, I'm with it.
Right? That's the Arabian sands.
Yeah.
He crossed the desert and he stands before the Sphinx, because he's facing the west.
Okay.
But when we find out that the world is misoriented, we find out he's facing the east from the west.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
That's called the proper reorientation.
Okay.
Right?
I'm with you.
He's standing on his 45 with his fez on. He's exercising his 360 of learned knowledge.
Okay.
He learned the 360 to the 720 on the tassel flip on the 360.
Okay.
This is the 360 flip to 720, and the 720 flips to 1440 off the turnaround.
Okay.
All right, now go back up to the top because it's finna take us to another book.
Yeah, blue moon. Every blue moon. What the?
Yeah,
what?
that's a rare event. It's going to take place. This is a prophecy in pictorial form by aligning the art to the spiritual intuition.
This is fire.
Okay, now the Sacred Drift essays on the margins of Islam.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And the guy sent me a video today about guys talking about writing in the margin on the paper.
Uh-huh.
Right. It's a term for it. And it's called marginalization.
Okay.
Right. In order to escape the margin, you have to enter into the body of the works.
Okay.
Right. So this is what this is transferring this back off of a knockback.
Okay.
We told you we was coming based on the words in the capital letters as an anagram.
Okay. That shit fights a lot of shit in this picture. Hey, got the prayer beads right there. What's that? The prayer beads on the Boaz or the not? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. That's mercy.
Okay. Man, they bear with us. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Look, I'm looking at the word sacred drift. Watch this.
Okay.
The Sa priestesses are the doula.
Yeah.
The letter C is the symbol for the word C.
Yeah.
Red.
Yeah.
Remember when you pulled up the red eye in the pyramid?
Yeah.
And what did I tell you it means?
You said it means, man, I can't remember.
Blood in my eye.
Yeah, blood.
In my third eye. That's when you see the enemy clearly.
Yeah.
D is the 4, right? That we got flipped off of the channel 4 flip.
Mm-hmm.
The rift. The rift was the division between the children of the nations on the land.
Okay.
So the priestesses see red when the 4 kings see the rift.
Okay.
That means you see the enemy for who they really is. This is coming off a sacred drift off of the students of Noble Drew Ali.
Uh-huh.
This is what we would call a righteous more not.
And would this be safe to say whatever noble Jew Ali was bringing, he brought it from ancient Kemet? Because he was over there, got the pyramid.
Well, you got to remember he studied Kemetic sciences because he was trying to figure out how do he get his people out of the condition they in.
Okay.
Right. So he studied Kemetic sciences. That's how he know to use the symbolism in order to maximize the information exposed without using a whole lot of words.
It's got a cub right here at the bottom too. It's a cub right here, like a cub, like a tiger, a lion or something.
It's probably a tiger cub.
Yeah, it's like right here at the bottom, right here.
Mm-hmm.
I can blow it up bigger. Right here, you see him? 3 roses. Man,
yeah, he could be any one of the big cats.
Yeah. Noble Julie, it was a high-powered freaking alchemist, man. I'm telling you, every single picture he took.
The sword is also a battle axe.
Okay, let me roll it up. Oh yeah, you can tell. Okay, yeah, right here. It's like a Native American knock, right?
Yeah, that's a tomahawk knock.
Yeah.
The tomahawk is a cleaver.
That's right.
Which is the Cleveland clans, which is Ohio Indians. Right. So we get knocks from multiple clans to close out all this shit on the land and restore us back to prominence where we supposed to be anyway.
That's right. Hey, you know these structures in the background too? If you look at these structures, these were the same structures that we had over here on this land. Like some of these structures, the Ouachita built these type of structures in Oklahoma.
Yeah, those was mud huts.
Yeah.
North American mud huts. Pull them up.
Yeah. I'm gonna type it in right now.
North American mud huts.
I got you.
Native American mud hut.
Okay.
This was the preferred way to make homes in the Southwest because the temperate climate. Yeah.
Like in Phoenix, those areas. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So the dirt is an insulator. It keeps it cool on the inside.
It's pretty much a mound.
That's how we beat the heat.
These had their own air conditioning system, and how did they build them? You know what I'm saying?
Ventilation.
Yep, that's right. And these right here are like the mount. We built mounds too, like underground mounds, the same kind of way. Like, but we built them. These right here were above ground. This is fire, Rod. The same little thing. I seen it in the background. Yeah, right here. These the same one. Look at that. That's like in like Phoenix, New Mexico,
Arizona. So these are also used for the sweat lodge ceremonies in some cases too, depending on the tribe. Right. When they use them for sweat lodge ceremonies, they'll go in that motherfucker in broad daylight when it's 120 degrees outside to start a fire in that bitch. And that motherfucker get hot enough, your ass be in that bitch sweating your guts out.
Yeah.
On peyote, high as a motherfucker.
Yeah. Per pass. You know what I'm saying? That's where they get it from. They didn't hit
the reason why I don't refer a lot of people to psilocybins and psychotropics is because if a person have a episode and they don't have an experienced shaman with them, that it can ruin them permanently.
That's right. I know people that had it happen. I know a dude that walk around with just a steering wheel to a car, talking to himself after he hit the shit without a guide.
Yeah. So when you run into that situation, when you got the experienced guide, he know how to guide you through the conquering of that ancestral energy that's trapping you there. That way he can free you to come back into the physical reality without losing your psychological makeup.
That's right. That's right. And you know something too, Rod, about that, to add to what you're saying, because I studied that when I was writing the dream scroll. What happens is if they do it without that guide, that master guide there, they can get it's high power freaking alchemy. You can get trapped because it's a back door. Like you know about the mirror work. You a high power alchemist, you gonna know what I'm talking about. But like the people that don't, like when you leave, when you do this drug, you leave your body, you astral travel, and you go to a whole nother dimension. But the dimension is actually right here, but it's
you know, you can't see it because of the state that you're in. But once you do this drug, it sends you, it projects you into that dimension. Now, when you get there, it's other beings that's already there. Some of them are trapped there. And what they would do is, if you ain't got a guide to keep you, because what happens if you go there and you got fear on you, these beings can sense it in this dimension, and so they'll come to you and trap you in that dimension, and then they'll steal your body, and they'll come back, and then you will be a whole different person, and they'll think that it's you, but it's really a being that stole your body from when you were doing the drug, because you went in there and you got fear on you and you went with a master. If you see, like, high power alchemists can do it by themselves. They can go in there and they can come back out. Like my brother, he was doing it by himself, and he did it a lot, man. And to one point, he said that one day he was driving.
There's only one thing about that a lot of people don't understand.
Go ahead.
When you have a walk-in like that, that's called a temporary walk-in. It's rules to that shit.
That's right.
Right? And this is what makes you lose your mind. Because if they come into your physical body while you're in an altered state, they alter your brain chemistry.
That's right.
So when you come back to yourself, you got an altered brain chemistry. They probably couldn't even do shit with your body.
Yeah, they assimilate it. They just assimilate it. Baba explains it like they assimilate their ideas into your brain frequency.
That's a full walk-in.
Yeah.
The full walk-in can only come in to suicidals.
Hey, go ahead.
They had to be so disenchanted with life on Earth that they're willing to leave by any means possible. They normally go out as a walk-in. They walk out and another one walk in. That's a trading of a soul contract.
That's right.
So normally what happened is somebody couldn't handle the contract or the agreement to come into the 3D world. So they pass off the responsibility to another soul who might have died in a car accident or prematurely by some means. They get the opportunity to come in. They can finish the rest of their life out by also completing your journey. So whatever your life purpose was, they have to satisfy the fulfillment of that purpose, and then they go back to their original purpose before they walked in.
That's right. That's right.
Right.
Hey,
so most of the walk-ins are not nefarious beings. But the hijackers,
negative beings.
Yeah, most of the walk-ins are benevolent. They just somebody that's trying to finish up the agreement before they was rudely interrupted by external forces.
Okay, let's get it.
Right. That's where you get 98% of your walk-ins. What you call hijackers is the ones you talking about, but they can only habitate for a certain amount of time in your body.
Drink good, right? They got to drink some kind of solution to stay in the third dimension. They got to, in order for them to keep them in this body, they got to do every 30 days. They got to do a certain ritual to stay in that body.
Well, yeah, if they ritualistically tied from the 3D world, like it's rituals you can do to send somebody outside their body and call in an altar to do your bidding for you as if they that person.
That's right. I've seen this. I know.
Right. Those are what we used to call Zumba rituals.
Okay.
Where you got your word zombie from.
Okay. Okay.
Right. When they hijack, the ones that's doing the hijacking normally want to use you to do their dirt in the 3D world without them getting caught.
Exactly. Go ahead.
This how we got caught in this conjure war, because they was using pale faces because they didn't want to get caught. They had no control over what they was doing because they had to follow the instructions of their master. Right? So the only thing we can do is make friends with pale faces and overrun their institutions with friendlies.
Yeah.
Which is how we right. That's how we end up winning. We can win. We could go back to the book.
I got
we can find another book.
We're going back right here. We was on this one. I think we was on this one.
I think that's the one we was on. The one you at now.
Okay, let's go to the next one, right?
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
The forgotten slave trade. The white European slaves of Islam. We don't want to talk about that though, dude.
Yeah, go ahead.
We just only want to talk about niggas with slaves and white people came out the caves, conquered the gods, and put them in chains. Make that shit make sense, Elder. What they talking about?
Right.
If we start watching the long game, this is what we gonna find out. These motherfuckers came over here slaves, right? And then they start using them to block us out of the institutions. That's how they shifted their position in the society. Once they shift their position in the overall society, now they standing in the background. Anybody give them any problems, they murder that nigga.
Wow.
Nat Turner, Denmark Vesey, Gabriel Prosser. And the list goes on and on of the ones you don't even know put up a resistance. They don't tell a lot about the slave rebellions or the insurrections in the prison camps because they don't want that to be part of the culture. Us constantly waking up and uprising against the tyranny of artificial legal fiction that's operating in the de facto capacity, pretending to be our government, pretending to give a fuck about us, but all the time they economically raping us, they socially destroying us, and they literally are taking the future and from our kids by corrupting what our kids learn. What our children learn from the master keeps them in a perpetual servant mentality. Right? Let's go to the next one. See, all of these is they references so they can learn more about what really went on with the slave trade.
Get a real grasp of it. Get a real good part of the picture.
This is what the CSA where thousands of Irish people sold as slaves. The answer is yeah, because the Irish was fighting the English, and the English don't look like they look today. They look like light-skinned Negroes. They the ones who was running this operation. So when Baba say we was getting punished by our sins, not for our sins, what was the sin?
Exactly.
What was done to the pale people first, you think we gonna get away without paying for that shit?
Exactly. That's what I said.
And my mama say sometimes the good got to suffer with the bad. Because one bad apple will spoil the whole bunch. But if you dump out the whole basket, you can find which ones ain't spoiled. Rinse them off and put them back in there and go about your merry business. So when all of the baskets got dumped out, right? So now it's time of the harvest where we take the good apples and leave the bad ones.
Okay.
Right? Go to the next one. There was one right before this. Double click.
Oh, let me go back. Yeah, it just make it do like that.
Okay, I see what happened. Go ahead.
Unless it was that one. Hold up.
That's what I thought it was right there.
Yeah, okay. It might be that one then. Yeah, okay. It is double clicking on me. Go ahead.
Look, Christian slaves, Muslim masters.
Wow.
White slavery in the Mediterranean, the Barbary Coast, and Italy from 1500 to 1800.
Wow.
This is after Columbus. These are motherfuckers they was bringing over here with them.
I got a picture going along with it. While we on that, I got a picture that's go along with this.
Pull it up.
Okay, this is a picture right here. And you like you already said something about these dudes. Like these dudes right here.
Oh yeah.
He a Muslim, ain't it?
Yeah, them Arabs.
Okay.
The one on the left is a Turk.
Okay. Yeah. The two Gammas. That's what they call them in the Old Testament. Two Gammas.
Yeah. He the servant of the other dude with the beard.
That's crazy, man. So he a white servant.
Yeah.
And he ain't part of the Canaanites because the Canaanites, but he is part of the Canaanites because his family, his people come from the Canaanites mixing with those people over there, the Japhat now people.
That's what make the ones that look like Abu Bakr.
Yeah. Yeah, the pale Arabs. The niggas that can't took over with with the crescent flag and they can't
see. Okay, now you see the guy on the right. His father could look exactly like Tipper Tip.
Okay.
But his mama would be one of the servants that's the complexion of my man.
Okay.
Right. Remember Tipper Tip, right?
Uh-huh.
You remember who he was?
No. Go ahead.
Tipper Tip, pull him up. Right, Tipper Tip was at the time of his life, he was the world's largest slave trader.
Spell his name for me.
Tipper, new word, Tibb.
Hold on, let me make sure I spelled that right. Spell it again.
Tipper.
Yeah.
Tibb.
BB. Okay, yeah, that's how you spell it. I think I got this dude in there too.
There you go. First and second picture of him.
Let me save it in there because he part of this whole what we talking about. All right.
Now he was from Northern Africa, and he traded African slaves to Europe. That was his business.
What? Hold on, we're finna get this cat. The ancestors finna get this nigga, man. We're finna wake him up out of his grave and hang it.
Yeah, so Baba got him in a couple of scrolls telling us his history, and it's a black guy that's wrote this big ass book. The book is red. I can't think of the name of it, but it's something like Muslims' contribution to the world. He got a section in there on him too.
Check that out.
Yeah, old Tipper Tip, the most prolific.
Selling niggas.
Yeah, nobody in history since him had a reputation of selling more slaves than him. He bought, sold, and traded more slaves than anybody in the known history of the world.
Damn. And it was
except for that's the only way you can out trade him. You have to count like Rome's wealth source was slaves.
Uh-huh.
And so he would be a contributor to Rome's wealth as a slave trader. Now, what was his religion?
Islam?
He was a Muslim.
Yeah.
Muslims are still trading slaves to this day in the Sudan. They capturing them in the Sudan, put them in bondage. They capturing them in Ethiopia, putting them in bondage. This what made them go in there and get Muhammad Fahd ID, Black Hawk Down. Remember that?
Yeah.
Don't nobody know why they went over there.
Yeah, you go break that down for me, man. On the Black Hawk Down.
So they went over there to get rid of a guy named Muhammad Fahd ID. They called him a warlord.
Let me pull this nigga up, man. Hold up. Muhammad.
What's his middle name? FHAD. His last name ADID.
FH.
You should see it in the drop down. Muhammad Fahd ID.
Muhammad.
No, he ain't up there. It ain't spelled right somewhere.
Yeah, ID. What's the last part? ID. ID.
Yeah, ADID.
ADID. Okay.
Put Ethiopian warlord behind it.
Yeah, here you go, right here.
There you go.
Yeah, that's him right there. I remember him now.
They went over there. That whole military operation was to kill him.
Why they want to kill him?
Under him, Muhammad Fahd ID didn't believe in allowing people to come into his country and exploit the people and to trade the women. He was protecting the women and the children, and he was raising the boys to be soldiers. They had to get rid of them. He was creating a situation in Ethiopia where pretty soon they would be able to defend themselves, and they didn't want that to happen. Ethiopia has been under a protectorate with varying European countries, mostly Italy and Britain, for the last 150 years. This guy would have got their independence. That's what he was fighting for. Now, if you notice, he looked like somebody else, Anwar Sadat. Anwar Sadat was the last Egyptian pharaoh from Egypt that was an Egyptian. You remember?
No,
saying that.
No.
Yeah. They built a pyramid structure to him in his memorial. You remember what happened to him, right?
No.
He was assassinated on stage by the Mossad.
What?
You know who the Mossad is, don't you?
Yeah, that's Israeli CIA.
Yeah. Now you know who run that, right?
What you got? I got ideas, but you know,
the Dirty Moors run that. All that shit going on over there, the Dirty Moors run that shit.
That's what I was gonna probably say too.
That's their shit. Pull up assassination of Anwar Sadat.
Yeah, we got to get this.
It was live. I
think Baba got that in the book. Baba got that in the book.
Yeah.
He got that in the book. I remember reading this in the book when you saying it now. It's my memory starting to come back. I think I read it in the book that Baba put out about that dude getting assassinated.
Yeah, they had
to spell his name.
ANWAR. His last name Sadat. SADAT. Shout out to Sadat X from the Brand Nubian, by the way. Yeah.
Let's save him, man. Because I'm gonna do research on this guy. Let me save him.
Yeah. So the reason that he would have had peace in the Middle East in the upcoming months before, if he would have lived, it would only took him about another 6 months to solve all of the Middle Eastern conflicts from Egypt.
There you go with a phase on.